Okay, so this says that we have this acceptance sampling. A sample of items is randomly selected without replacement, and the entire batch is rejected if there is at least one defective. So if any of them are defective, we reject it. The electrics company just manufactured 4,000 CDs. 120 of them are defective. If 5 of these CDs are randomly selected and tested, what is the probability the entire batch will be rejected? So we reject the entire batch if any of them are defective. So we'll say that's going to be the probability of one defect plus the probability of 2 defects plus the probability of 3 plus the probability of 4 plus the probability of 5. Because if there's one defect in the batch, we reject the whole thing. If there's 2, we reject the whole thing. If there's 3, we reject. 4, we reject. 5, we reject. So these are all the possibilities in which we would reject the batch. So you can find each of these 5 probabilities, which is going to take a very long time. Or you can just say the only other possibility would be that there's no defects. So we can just find the probability of 0 defects and subtract that from 1. That's the complement. So to figure out the probability of there being 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 defects, we're just going to figure out the only other possibility, which is that there's no defects, and subtract it from 1. So this is a much easier problem to solve. So to figure out the probability of no defects, probability of 0 defects. Well, what's the chance that the first CD I select isn't defective? Well, if there's 4,000 and 120 are defective, how many are not defective? Well, that's 3,880. That's the probability the first one's not defective. Now let's find the probability the second one's not defective. Well, if we take a CD out that's not defective, how many of non-defected CDs are left? 3,879 out of 3,999. Do it again. 3,878 out of 3,998. Do it again. 3,877 over 3,997. And the last one, the fifth one, 3,876 over 3,996. If we multiply these, that will give me the probability of no defects. So whatever I get there, I'm just going to subtract it from 1, and that'll give me my answer. So I'm going to take a minute. Let me pause the video, and I'm going to put this in my calculator because it's just going to take a while. I'm going to pause this real quick. So I paused it, and it'll look like on the video that no time has passed. But I pause it, and I put these values into my calculator. This whole thing, I did 3,880 divided by 4,000 times 3,879 divided by 3,999. I did the whole thing, and you get this. 0.85867 or 0.8587. So when you subtract that from 1, we get 0.1413, or written as a percent is 14.1%. So that's going to be your answer.